So today we're diving straight into a case that, honestly, it just chills you to the bone.
Mm.
It's this idea that someone you see every day, someone you work with, could allegedly be capable of, well, the ultimate betrayal.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
colleague you grab coffee with. What might be going on behind that familiar face?
Exactly. Appearances can be so deceiving.
And this case is a stark reminder of that, even in seemingly normal professional settings.
Okay, so we're heading to Barcelona. The year is 2008.
Right.
We're looking at what first seemed like just a tragic accident, the death of a businesswoman, Ana María Páez.
Yeah, found in her apartment. But things quickly took a much darker turn.
They really did. It started to look like a sinister plot, allegedly involving her own associate, María Ángeles Molina. Angie, she was called.
And this is where it gets really complex, isn't it?
Hmm.
This blend of friendship, or at least professional closeness, and business partnership.
Used as camouflage, apparently.
Allegedly, yes. Camouflage for deadly intentions, seemingly driven by just sheer financial desperation.
Yeah. So our goal in this deep dive is really to unpack how Angie Molina allegedly planned this, how she supposedly carried it out.
Okay.
Let's start with the victim, Ana María Páez. Who was she?
Well, she was a businesswoman in Barcelona. People described her as, trusting, maybe financially comfortable, certainly stable.
And her relationship with Angie Molina, they weren't just passing acquaintances, right?
No, not just distant colleagues.
Mhm.
They were associates operating in the same sphere. Maybe even friends to some degree.
Okay, so there was a foundation of trust there.
A significant one, it seems. And the allegation is that this very trust was exploited deliberately.
Right. Now let's look at María Ángeles, Angie Molina. What was the image she projected?
Well, outwardly, she probably seemed quite competent. Professional, maybe ambitious, active in the business world.
But underneath,
A very different story, apparently. Reports suggest she was drowning in debt.
how much are we talking?
Hundreds of thousands of euros, potentially. Dealing with creditors. Immense financial pressure building up.
Wow.
And it looks like this pressure might have pushed her towards considering extreme measures. Allegedly, murder for profit, all while keeping up appearances.
It's that mask, isn't it? The mask of normality.
Precisely, hiding the desperation.
And this wasn't like an impulsive act. The evidence suggested planning.
Oh, absolutely not impulsive. The evidence points towards a really meticulous plan, allegedly set in motion months before Ana María Páez actually died.
Months before. Okay, what kind of planning?
Well, one of the most striking things is the life insurance. Molina allegedly took out several substantial life insurance policies on Páez.
How substantial?
We're talking over €1 million, reportedly, combined.
€1 million. And the beneficiary was?
Angie Molina herself. Or companies linked directly to her.
Okay, that's a massive red flag right there. A huge financial motive staring you in the face.
Absolutely. It immediately raises questions about her intentions, doesn't it?
You'd think so. But the alleged deception, it didn't even stop there, did it? She started impersonating Ana Páez.
Yeah, and this is maybe the most disturbing part. Before Páez even died.
Before? How?
Using personal details she knew maybe from their association, their friendship, she allegedly started making calls, forging documents, possibly even accessing bank accounts, all pretending to be Páez.
That's incredibly brazen. What was the goal there before the death?
It suggests, a calculated effort, maybe to secure loans, funnel funds, perhaps set things up financially under Páez's name, even before the alleged final act. It's a profound violation of identity.
Unbelievable. And then there's the physical element, the chloroform.
Right. Shortly before Páez's death, Molina allegedly bought chloroform. Also syringes, other related items.
And chloroform that can be used to incapacitate someone, right? Knock them out.
Exactly. It's a powerful anesthetic. It could render someone unconscious, unable to resist.
So the purchase provides a potential method.
It does.
Yeah.
And when you put that together with the alleged motive, the insurance money and the deception, the impersonation, well, it paints a pretty strong picture of premeditation, doesn't it?
It really does. Okay, so let's go to the day itself. February 19th, 2008.
Ana María Páez is found, dead in her bathtub.
Yeah.
In her Barcelona apartment.
And initially, it wasn't clear what happened.
No, there was ambiguity. Could it be an accident, a slip, a drowning, maybe even suicide? There weren't obvious signs of a struggle, apparently.
But the autopsy, that was the turning point.
Absolutely pivotal. The autopsy revealed significant levels of sedatives in her system.
Sedatives?
Yes. And also traces consistent with chloroform exposure.
Ah, the chloroform.
Exactly. So the official cause of death became suffocation or drowning, yes, but while incapacitated by these substances.
Which means homicide.
Confirmed homicide,
Yeah.
no longer just a potential accident.
And as soon as it's confirmed homicide, the focus must have snapped straight to motive and opportunity, right?
Immediately.
Yeah.
And those life insurance policies. With Molina as the beneficiary, that put her right under the spotlight.
Especially combined with her debts.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Her verifiable, significant debts provided a very powerful potential motive. It all started to line up.
So how did they unravel the rest of it, the deception?
The investigation started piecing it all together. Evidence emerged of the impersonation not just before, but allegedly after Páez's death too, trying to access funds.
How did they find that? Bank records.
Bank records, yeah. Possibly phone analysis, communication records, and of course that documented purchase of the chloroform. That directly linked Molina to the potential means of incapacitation.
And her alibi. They must have scrutinized that.
Oh, you bet. With a fine-tooth comb, her movements, her behavior before and after Páez's death, everything would have been closely examined for inconsistencies, anything suspicious.
Was there any mention of anyone else being involved?
There were some confusing reports, yeah. Whispers of a potential accomplice, maybe a Colombian hitman, that kind of thing.
What?
But the core evidence, the money, the insurance, the impersonation, the chloroform, it all seemed to point overwhelmingly towards Molina acting out of her own financial desperation.
Right. So inevitably she was arrested?
Arrested and charged. Murder of Ana María Páez. Plus fraud, possibly forgery, related to everything else.
And the trial must have been huge news in Spain.
Oh, absolutely. It got significant media attention.
What was the prosecution's case, essentially?
They laid out that web of evidence. Debt as the motive, insurance as the reward, chloroform as the means, impersonation as the deception. Plus, they'd argue circumstantial evidence showing she had the opportunity.
And Molina's defense.
She maintained her innocence throughout, consistently denied it.
Got the verdict.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Found guilty in 2012 or 2013. The reports vary slightly on the exact date. Guilty of murder.
And the sentence.
A significant prison term.
Yeah.
Widely reported as 22 years that covered the murder and the fraud charges.
22 years. So justice served in the eyes of the court.
It represented a measure of justice for Ana María Páez, yes. Though, of course, nothing could bring her back.
Looking back at it all, Angie Molina's case, it really is a study in calculated greed, isn't it? And just ultimate betrayal.
It truly is. That mask you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
it was so multifaceted. The professional colleague, the financially stable person she pretended to be.
And even trying to become her victim through impersonation.
Exactly. For financial gain. It's
Mhm.
deeply chilling.
The level of planning, the alleged cold rationality behind it, the insurance, the chloroform, staging the scene. It suggests such a lack of empathy.
It really does. It seems like a methodical approach driven purely by that extreme financial pressure. A really stark, unsettling example of where that kind of pressure can lead someone.
So the key takeaway from this deep dive, María Ángeles Molina allegedly weaponized trust. The trust in a professional relationship.
Driven by debt. She allegedly planned and executed Ana María Páez's murder for money and tried to make it look like an accident.
It's just a disturbing reminder, isn't it, of the darkness that can hide behind a familiar face, the devastating results of unchecked greed.
Absolutely. And we have to remember, Ana María Páez in all this, the victim of such a calculated, heartless betrayal.
It really makes you stop and think, what does this case make you consider about trust? Especially in our professional lives, you know, the people we work alongside every day.
It's a heavy question. Definitely
Right.
something that lingers.